Let's rise up to minister to Jesus, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the one that came, the one that reigns, the one that is coming again. Hallelujah. Great things He has done. Great are things He will do unto the Lord. He has glory. Great things He has done unto the Lord. He has glory. I bless you, my Savior, this evening. I bless you for bringing me in on this program to come and learn, to be fed. Thank you and thank you. I want to minister to Jesus. Minister to Him. He's here with us. His angels are here. His Holy Spirit is here. The whole heaven is here, backing us up right now. So take your right hand and minister to Him. Give Him all the glory He alone deserves. Thank you for saving you. Thank you for healing you. Thank you for deliverance. Thank you for all the testimonies that they have had. Thank you for because He's so faithful. He's so faithful. Jesus is so faithful. There is no one like Him. Blessed be your name. Hallelujah. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Heavenly Father, You are the manager that will never mismanage our lives. A great leader, a great master. All of us are gathered today because You have begun to blow Your trumpet. And the Bible says, when you blow your trumpet, a solemn assembly shall gather unto Thee. Thank You, God, Father, because we are gathering and we will continue to gather unto You. Thank You for bringing this Your precious sheep this evening. You have something very important to tell them. Father, do not hold back. Speak expressly to us. Speak to us in the language every one of us will be able to relate with. In the mighty name of Jesus. Even for the one that will understand better in Yoruba, Father, let there be a supernatural interpreter. For in Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. Let's take our voice and then you sing. So it's not just that you know the word, but you also say the word. If you don't say, what you know can't work. Believe me. And it's one of the things the Lord has opened our eyes to see as walking the word. Walking the word is not a Bible study, because I know there are so many denominations that have great Bible studies. It's not that people don't know the Bible, but it's not that our cars are suspended in the air and the tires are rolling and there is no movement. Because if the tire does not touch the road, there is no movement. You are going to Ibadan and you suspend your car and you engage gear 1, gear 2, gear 3 on the top speed, but you suspend your tires. You are still in Ikeja even after 3 hours. And that's the kind of lives that so many children of God are living, and it's quite unfortunate. We have gathered today and in the next 5 days to look at something that is extremely very important: exploring the supernatural. And let me say this, not until a child of God understands this concept and learns how to function in it, he can't live in victory. That's why there's so much defeat in the Christian world. That's why there's so much failure. There's a cycle of failure, a cycle of lack, a cycle of sickness and diseases. A cycle of disappointment, rejection, things that should not be named in the church. They are the things that are now very common in the church. And the reason is there is the natural realm and there is the supernatural realm. The supernatural realm is more real than the natural realm. You can, for the purpose of this discussion,
says that the supernatural realm we're talking about is also the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm. Listen, the spiritual is almost 98% of your life. This is the reason many people don't know things. I used to have a friend who said, I don't believe in the spiritual. I say, yes, that's nice. When you sleep, where are you? Right. After you have slept, do you even know when you sleep? Who can ever tell me he knows exactly when he sleep? Into sleep. Sleep. S-L-I-P. Right. Life is spiritual and it's God's idea. The supernatural realm is God's idea. That is how He makes the world to be. You know, from the beginning, if you are able to attend these 5 days, there are so many questions in your life you never need to ask anyone anymore. Believe me. And that is God's best for us. God doesn't want us to run after men. God doesn't want us to run from pillar to post, beaten, battered, disabled. After Jesus came to die for you, after He was buried, He rose again, He ascended to heaven, He's now in heaven interceding for you. The life of God Himself was given up to buy you, to purchase, and you are still struggling. Then something is wrong. Something is blatantly wrong, and it's going to be corrected. People will walk out of bondages, even without being prayed for. Because what you need to know is to know the truth. Only the truth makes people free. It is not the size of a prophet. It's not his height. It's not his name. The only thing that makes a man free is the truth. It's not a denomination. Denomination doesn't make you free. There are so many people in the right place, right denomination, but they are in extreme bondages. Right. And there are people who don't seem to be in any place, and yet they are free. You know why? Only the truth will make you free. There is nothing else that makes people free except the truth. Hallelujah. So it is going to be very exciting if you keep coming. Just 5 days. And we are going to run through the entire gamut of creation. You've got to understand creation. In the very beginning, God had a plan. God already had heaven. He was in heaven. He was the reigning king in heaven. But He wanted to create another realm, another kingdom called the earth. And He didn't want to come to the earth to reign on earth, to rule the earth. So He decided in His wisdom, infinite wisdom, that okay now, I want another realm, and I'm going to name that realm the earth. Why? I'm going to create somebody like me, after my image, exactly the same as me, resembling me in all things particular. Then it's going to be my co-regent, and I'm going to send him to be the one to rule the earth. The two of us will now be working together. I will create him as me. I am a spirit, so I'm going to create him as a spirit. But then the earth I'm going to create for him to rule is going to be a material world. It's going to be a matter world, where you can now see things tangibly. In the realm where I am as God is an intangible realm. I have a spiritual body, a tangible body. But let me create man in that spirit of mine, but let me now form a body for the spirit of man. So man was created as a spirit, exactly like God. Let us create man in our likeness, after our image. In Hebrew it is Selem. Selem means having exact picture of a thing without any difference. One day I was praying somewhere and some birds were coming, small birds like that, and they all had the same features. same neck. I remember there's a dark patches on their neck like this. You know, they are big, the same, everything the same. And their nuances the same. You know, always dumping like this. You know how birds do. Because in vain is a net spread before a bird. You can't catch a bird with a net because they are very sensitive, right? So, but what am I saying? I see all of them produce after the same order. And I was inspired by the Holy Spirit that that's exactly how you look like God. Listen, everything is produced after its kind. It's a law. It's a law of reproduction. That everything, a cat will be produced after the nature of a cat. A dog is going to be produced after the nature of a dog. Now, so by nature, God created man as his God is a spirit. So if God created you exactly like him, then he created you a spirit, but then because you are going to function in a matter world, you are going to function in a world where you have to touch things, then he formed a body for you. So he created you and formed. They are two different things, right? Then because in the matter world also the intellectual realm will become something that will exist. It gives you a soul. So as you are seated, you are a spirit, you have a soul, and you have a body. Glory be to God. God is supernatural, but I want you to know that Satan is also supernatural. So there is a good supernatural realm and there is a bad supernatural realm. Do you know why? In the kingdom of darkness, they seem to have more success than the believers. They have learned how to function in the supernatural realm more than the believers. For instance, today, a believer will run away from a witch. Some, not all. I won't run away from a witch because I know I'm greater than him or greater than her. But some will run from a witch. Do you know why they run it? They think they are natural and they think the witch is supernatural. And because they have refused to grow and they remain natural, they can't see the truth in their life. Life is not natural, it is supernatural, it is spiritual. And you have to accept it that way. There are supernatural sicknesses, that's why they call it terminal. It's not that I headache. It's not that I'm tired. It's not that I walk and I didn't sleep well. Do you understand? So God is supernatural and somehow Satan is. In Genesis 1 that I just read to you, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. He formed man. Listen to this, it's very important. Verse 28 now says, and God blessed them. Say, I'm blessed. Before man had what is called a curse, he had been blessed first. What we had first is blessing, not curses. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful. Say fruitfulness. You see, there are certain things you will begin to walk in supernaturally. Supernatural fruitfulness will begin to be your portion. Believe me, but you have to listen to this message. Why will a Christian, a believer, not have fruits in his life? Why would the life of a believer be a constant one of drought, of dryness, of famine? Famine of good things, famine of opportunities, famine of good breaks. Why will a believer be looking for connections and look for connections for 10 years, and you see a believer say, I am believing God for somebody to help me? For how long? For how many years will you stay believing God? Right. Be fruitful, multiply, multiplication, replenish the earth and subdue the earth, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Okay, man was to rule, man was to subdue, man was to replenish the earth, man was to dominate all the other creations of God. From the spirit realm, from the supernatural realm. You were made to dominate mosquitoes. Mosquitoes that now give you malaria. Mosquitoes was never to be a threat to man. Snakes were never to be a threat to man. Scorpions were never to be a threat to man. You were made to rule over those things. In Psalm 8 verse 6, I'm going to read in Good News Bible. Psalm 8 verse 6. You appointed them rulers over everything. You appointed them rulers over everything you made. You placed them over all creation. That's man. Right. But you know what happened immediately? That's Genesis 1, Genesis 2. Like I always tell people, Genesis 1, Genesis 2, they are the cleanest. If I'm permitted to say something like that, the cleanest chapters of the Bible. Because it was the chapters where Satan is not mentioned at all. Satan came in on the scene from chapter 3, and from chapter 3, problem came on it. And if not for the devil, and I'm very sure that the Bible wouldn't have been more than chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Genesis. Glory be to God. Sin changed everything. Sin changed the equation. The plan and purpose of God for man changed because of disobedience. You know the disobedience. God said to Adam before he made Eve, he said, this tree of the knowledge of good and evil that is at the center of the garden, don't eat. He didn't say don't touch or don't eat. The day you eat of it, you shall surely die. And you know God is holy. Whatsoever he says, he doesn't repent from it. If God says anything, he doesn't say, holiness is actually when you are one with your word. When you are one with your thoughts. We can see you in your action. There is no duality in you. That's what is called holiness. Jews in Greek. Holiness. So God is holy. God says to Adam, Adam, I promise myself that if you eat of this tree, you will die. And because he has said it, when Adam ate, he died. People thought God caused Adam. God didn't cause Adam. God told Adam the consequence of his action, of his choices. You are eating from the tree I asked you not to eat. Because if you look at the conversation after the end, immediately the end, the glory of God was lifted. The Holy Spirit was lifted. The angels of God were withdrawn. Man would be over by himself and wanted him to live. He wanted him to live his life outside God. That is what we call the Babylonian system of the world system. People trying to meet their needs outside God. This is a satanic system. You can't meet your needs outside the one who created you. Right, so, and immediately the glory of God lifted from their life. And they saw for the first time they were naked. Why? Because the glory lifted. And God was coming as usual. Omnipotent, he already didn't know. He pretended, he imposed. Let's just use that, right? And he said, Adam, where are you? Adam said, I was afraid. The speech of man became corrupted. That is when fear came. That's when people now began to speak fear. Fear. Speak anxiety. Speak lack. And broke. You know, because that was never to be the speech of man. But sin changed everything about man. The chemistry of man changed because of sin. The chemistry of creation changed. Everything about creation changed. And everything has still changed till now. Right? Because of the sin of one man. Because when he sinned, the entire mankind sinned. The boy that will be born in the hospital right now, a general hospital right now, is a sinner. And that's why so many things now began to change. Let's look at John 14:1. There are so many verses I would like you to write down, even if you cannot open them. You know, you just write them down, then at your own leisure time you read and meditate on them. And a woman is of few days and full of trouble. Now, immediately man sinned, then he fell into the natural realm. That's exactly natural realm. In Job 6, that should be clean. And he which is born of a woman, that he should be righteous. Man are falling from grace, they are falling to sin. In Psalm 51 verse 5, David says something by the Holy Ghost. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Everyone that will ever visit the earth is conceived in sin. And that is an enemy of God. Every man that comes on earth comes as an enemy of God. Why? Because of the sin nature. Romans 3:23. For all are sinned and come short of the glory of God. Romans 6:23. For the wages of sin is. So, you know what happened? Man fell into sin, man fell into sin. Forget about the clothes we wear. Man has fallen. And you know where man fell from? He fell from the spiritual to the natural. Now, in the spiritual, he was to live by faith. He was to live and walk with God by faith. But when he sinned, he fell into the natural senses. Now he had to live by what his physical senses see. Then the senses began to dominate man. The man wakes up in the morning and his body says, I'm sick. The man accepts, I am sick. If the banking alert system sends to man and suggests to man that man is broke, man believes that he is broke. Because now physically he does not have more than 2,500 naira. But from the beginning it was not supposed to be so. Man was never to be ruled by his senses. Man was never to be under the dominion of the natural, but man fell into the natural. In the natural realm, the children of God, there is nothing there. Everything you need, everything you ever need is in the supernatural. It's in the spiritual realm. That's why believers are seeing very little. And the people who are not even believers are seeing much. Because they have learned how to perfectly work out the supernatural. Hallelujah. But thank God. Say thank God. Awesome God. You know Ephesians 2:4 says, but God. You know when you read from verse 1, Ephesians chapter 2, you read to verse 3, you see the bestiality of man. You see the falling man. You see the decadence of man. How he fell under the dominion of Satan and Satan became his overlord. But man was not left at the mercy of the devil by God. In Genesis 3:15, God says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman. God was now addressing the devil. And between thy seed and her seed, he shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his head, his heel. So, God immediately made a provision for man to be reborn back into the supernatural. God didn't want to leave man in the natural realm, because God knew that man had become estranged from him. He knew that he would no longer have the benefit of fellowship with man again as before. So he had to bring man back onto the realm where he is. He had to bring man back into the supernatural, into the unseen, into the intangible realm. And that is the essence of this program. Exploring the realm of God. Are you there? If you are there, do you know? And if you know you are there, are you really taking advantage of it? For instance, there's supernatural provision. You know one thing about God is this. Even for the fallen men in the Bible days, he sent his spirit to them occasionally for them to function in the supernatural realm. So the supernatural realm was not completely taken away from man, except that it has now been limited now to few people. For instance, it was supernatural for the Israelites to cross the Red Sea. It's not natural. There was no boat, there was no ship, there was no earth-moving equipment, there was nothing at all. Only the stretching of the rod by Moses. God says to Moses, he said, what is in your hand? Moses said, rod. He says, stretch it over the Red Sea and divide it. Then the Bible says he did, right? And they crossed and see it was a dry land. And by the time they got to the other side, And he said, Moses, stretch it back. Because at that time, their enemies were already following them into the Red Sea. It's a very dangerous thing for you to pursue a child of God relentlessly. One day you meet your death and destruction. So they were following them. And when the last Israeli left, Moses stretched forth the rod, and he did, and water came back on the Egyptians, and the Bible says they were all proud and sworn that you will not fulfill your destiny. They are drowned.
Amen.
In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
If they are the ones that drown themselves, you are not. Listen, there is a point where your enemies will follow you. Your enemies will begin to follow you a little. They will see they enjoy God's mercy. But one day they are caught. Let them continue to pursue you. One day they can't catch you. But they will now get to a place where they will now meet their wanted you. So, in the Old Testament, there were moons of the supernatural. There was Red Sea. There was a man called Elijah. He was a prophet. Elijah wanted to cross from one side of River Jordan to the other side to catch a flight to heaven. He was to go to heaven by chariot of fire, and there was a particular place where the flight would take him. So he had to cross River Jordan to go and catch a flight. One man, no ship, no boat, nothing. He just took his mantle and he hit the River Jordan, and the Bible says he parted into two. So that's supernatural. So there have been cases where supernatural actually manifested in the Old Testament, but God was not satisfied with that. God wanted to make it common to everybody. God wanted to make the supernatural your natural life. If the supernatural has not become your natural life, trust the Holy Spirit in you, you are still limited in what you can do. That's why the church appears limited. Listen, for instance, there is what is called supernatural healing. But the church has completely forgotten about that. They have closed their doors against supernatural healing. And they have gone to take the healing of the world system. Nothing is wrong with medical doctors. But the Bible says, Jesus says, it's only the sick that is looking for the doctors. So, for you as a believer that is looking for comprehensive check-up and whatever, then you must have believed that you are the sick before you are looking for doctors. But then, the believer is not a sick person. The believer is not a sick person. If you go to a doctor and say, "Doctor, check me," what are you expecting to see? Right. So, the plan of God is to bring us back into the supernatural. Hallelujah. And he did. Now, how did he do it? Let's look at the life of Jesus Christ. How did Jesus Christ, how was he born? Now, when we now know how Jesus was born, we now know how you, if you are a believer, how you are born, or if you are not yet a believer, how you are going to be born today. Right? Into the supernatural realm, because the supernatural realm is where God wants you to function. The supernatural. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. Now, Matthew 1. Let's look at Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. Matthew 1, 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now, Angel Gabriel was sent from God to Mary. Mary was a virgin. Mary had heard in biology class that virgins don't give birth. From the parents, virgins don't give birth. But Angel Gabriel said you are going to give birth. That's supernatural. I trust God that at the end of this 5 days, your life will become supernatural. In everything. I'm telling you. Because that's the sweetest